I'm sure that every little boy and girl here in Frogtown, just like every city across the United States, at some point in their life dreams of being a firefighter, of putting on the helmet, of racing across town in a piece of apparatus like that right behind me. I'm Father Chris Vasko, the pastor of Historic Church of St. Patrick, and 35 years ago we had a disastrous lightning strike. The firefighters from this station promptly responded and saved our church. I'd like now to have them share with you a bit of their own story.
It was September 9th, 1980, when firefighters were called to a fire that had erupted here at the Historic Church of St. Patrick. And when firefighters arrived, they found that the fire seemed to be confined to the steeple area of the church.
I was on Five's ladder that day. Lightning was striking all around us. We heard one extremely loud crash. One of the guys in the kitchen said, "Sounds close."
After the lightning strike, I got up from where I was at and went downstairs. About 10 minutes later, 5 to 10 minutes later, we were sent to the fire.
Turn the corner and we see the fire up at the very top. So we were the first rig there.
When we arrived at St. Pat's, you could see, first thing that gets your attention is how high it is.
I more or less waited to hear what my officer had for me to do, and his decision was to go up into the tower and get up there, see what we could do.
When we came across the bridge, I could see the fire, the smoke, and being a Catholic boy, I was very concerned, of course.
I came over the bridge in my chief's car, and when I pulled up, I saw what was going on. And then I jumped out of the car and went and grabbed my equipment and started going.
When I arrived, Five's engine and Five's ladder truck were already there and getting located so that they could attack the fire.
Somebody came and told us where the stairs were. We climbed up and we got up where the bells were in the tower.
We first tried to figure out a way to get to the top because we weren't going to get our water stream to the top where the fire was.
I first thought when we went there is we'd been over pre-fire planned the church, and we'd went up the crisscross ladders going up to the top.
And it was wet because we had tried to hit the fire from the bottom.
When we sprayed the water up there, we kept washing all that pigeon excrement onto us.
And but it was full of pigeon dew.
You were getting saturated with water and pigeon droppings.
Pigeon junk and
Bird feces.
the pigeon poop.
And it was just unsafe. You were slipping all over, So we decided we weren't then going to climb to the top.
I got up there with, there were several of us in 7s that met up with the guys in 5s, and they had already dropped a rope down to the ground level and hooked up hose and pulled it up.
When the line came up, they had sent the female end of the hose up to us. So my officer, Lieutenant Rummel, gets on the radio and he says, "We're sending the line back down." He says, "Next time, send the end the water comes out of." So we get a line up there and we can't reach the fire with the water.
We kept screaming for we needed more water. If we could get more water, we had all the water pumped into us so we could get. We just couldn't go any higher. There's just not that much pressure there and couldn't be done.
It's frustrating, very, very frustrating that there's nothing you can do.
It was beyond the reach of our exterior attack by our ladders. So we put people up inside, and we got to the last 200 feet, and the ladder was too weak for us to climb. So we basically attacked from that distance, which is a tough thing to do.
As the firefighters waited, they took refuge under the church's bells.
It was loud. We kept hearing clang, clang, stuff hitting the bell all the time.
We didn't like the sounds that was coming off the bell. I said, let's get out from under the bell.
And there's this little door, and the door apparently led to a catwalk that was above the church. We're standing in there a few minutes and we hear this loud, creaky, groany type of sound, and the next thing we know, something comes crashing through the roof. It turned out it was the cross, comes crashing through the roof, So Bo told us back under the bell, boys.
All we knew is that the steeple was collapsing, and of course we couldn't vacate the area because there was only one ladder down, and we couldn't get to the ladder. So we were mostly concerned about getting hit by debris, and our shelter was the bells.
A fire starting above you and working down takes hours. When it starts at the bottom and goes up, it takes minutes.
We waited till the fire burnt down to us and we could get to it with our line.
I went into the church and went up through the ladder and got up into the tower, and they were all up. There were 8 to 10 people up there, and they were all attacking the fire and doing a good job and putting the fire out.
From that point on, everything went good. We have good people.
Well, I lived out in the South End at the time. I came in the trail to my office every morning, and I used to see the steeple, and it was no longer there. Part of downtown landscape for a long time was pretty bleak looking.
I don't remember that much damage. And then I look at the pictures and I'm just amazed, and I see how St. Pat's looks now, and it is just wonderful to go there. It fills me with pride that we have such a beautiful church now.
After the steeple and the cross were restored and returned to their proper place in the city's skyline, the parish wanted to do something special for the firefighters.
Because they saved the church, we have the parish community that we have today. So between Tom Carone, me, and then I got Dave Megan involved, who's a Toledo firefighter, and Father Hartigan's approval, we started planning the first Mass.
We wanted the firefighters to come to the Mass with their families. We wanted them to wear their uniforms. We wanted the pipe and drums to be a part of it. We wanted the honor guard to be a part of it. The church has never forgotten what the firefighters have done for that church.
The Mass, to me, just made you really just reflect on the time I worked on the job.
It's really breathtaking. It's like going to a major football game and having the band come out of the tunnel. It raises the hair in the back of your neck when those bagpipers walk up the aisle.
To the parish family of historic St. Pat's, this was our fire. The yearly Firefighters Mass here at the historic Church of St. Patrick's is the parish's way of saying thank you to not only the firefighters who helped save the church, but to firefighters everywhere who risk their lives every day to help keep us all safe.
Everything they do at the Memorial Mass makes me feel good. To talk to the people that was at the fire, talk to firemen who weren't at the fire, and the friends that I have that are members of the church.
We're getting Northwestern Ohio firefighters. It's just not Toledo. It's become a Mass for firefighters. And that was what we wanted. It was a Mass for firefighters.
I think when they walk into St. Pat's downtown and can walk up to that shrine, that means something to each one of us.
Now we have our church that is part of us. And I walk in there and I just feel very much at home.
It's nice to be appreciated so much by the church.
Hello, and welcome to Moments with the Monsignor. I'm standing here in the beautiful historic Church of St. Patrick on the day that we should have been celebrating our Firefighters Mass to celebrate the 19th anniversary of the 9/11 tragedy and the 40th anniversary this year of the steeple fire that was so quickly responded to by the fire department here in Toledo and saved our church. I'm with today Dave Megan, a retired firefighter, who is kind of the superintendent of our shrine to St. Florian and to the firefighters here in town. And I've asked him to join me this morning on Moments to say a little bit about our shrine to St. Florian and perhaps a little bit about the celebration that we're going to be having later this year. Dave?
Well, the firefighters are very blessed and thankful that St. Patrick's has given us this opportunity to have a shrine for St. Florian, our patron saint for firefighters. We have a banner here that depicts St. Florian, and we also have a Class 1 relic of St. Florian that we just got 2 years ago. And we have a piece of the World Trade Center there. And we treat that with both of them with reverence, because we still think that there could be people, parts of people on that, where the buildings came down. We have patches over there from all over the world that people have donated to the shrine. And it just adds so much to the ambience of the shrine. We actually have guys who tear the patches right off their shirt to put them on to give them to us. So hopefully if you see this, and come down and see the shrine.
Because of the COVID virus, we decided to move our celebration from its ordinary place in September to National Firefighters or Fire Prevention Week later in October. Our celebration will be on the 11th of October, and we want to make sure that it is COVID safe. So we'll be taking plenty of precautions to make sure that this beautiful church provides the safest environment that we possibly can to celebrate our firefighters and first responders. We thank Dave for joining us today on Moments with the Monsignor. We hope you enjoyed this little episode and that you'll watch and tune in again. And come home to the historic Church of St. Patrick.